Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Bhagavad Gita as it is. Translation and commentary by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Founder Acharya of ISKCON. Chapter 10, Text 24. Ta Brihaspatim Senani Nam Aham Skandha Sarasam Asmi Sagraha. Read the translation again. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya-manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yatapara-kamalam Shri Gurunna Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shiva Shakan Vitangscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Anamami Hari Priya Ancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Representations of Krishna only give hints of his greatness. So this applies to all of these statements, just like we have next. Maharshinam Brigoraham Giram Asmi Ekam Aksharam Yagyanam Japa Yagyosmi Sthavaranam Himalaya. Among great sages, Krishna is Bhrigu. Among vibrations, he is the transcendental Om. Of sacrifices, he is the chanting of the holy names Japa. And of immovable things, Krishna is the Himalayas. So all these are representations of Krishna's greatness. They are to give some indication of Krishna's greatness. Vibhuti-yoga that we have discussed. These are to give some representation of Krishna's greatness, but if we take it as all in all, this is the full extent of Krishna's greatness, that is a mistake. If we go to see the mountains, whether Himalaya mountains or Balkan mountains or whatever kind of mountains, and we think this is God, in one sense that is correct. Because Krishna is everything. That Krishna has explained in Bhagavad Gita in the previous chapter. What is that verse? Ayatatam idam sarvam jagat avyakta muritina matsthani sarvabhutani nachahang teshvavastita. Krishna is in everything, but everything is not in Krishna. You may ask, how is that possible? Everything is within Krishna's energy, but that doesn't mean that everything is Krishna. So the mountains, Thavaranam Himalaya, Krishna is energy, some of the more outstanding or wonderful parts of his energy, they may be said to particularly represent him, because Krishna is the most wonderful. So if we see something which is wonderful, that represents in a tiny fraction how wonderful is Krishna. If you go to the bottom of the mountain and you look up, you'll think, oh, you'll be awestruck. Or if you go to the top of the mountain and you look down, you'll be awestruck. Keshav, Tua Jagat Vichitra, how amazing is the creation of Lord Keshav. We'll be awestruck. Or if you go to Manhattan and look at the big, big buildings, you'll also be awestruck because it's very big, imposing, such a big thing. Or if you see a big, tall man, 6 foot, you say in meters, 2.5 meters high, you'll be awestruck. Such a tall person. Anything which is unusually large or great, that is something which invokes our sense of wonder. Therefore, in the very primitive kind of worship, you'll find the Aborigines in the jungle. Here you don't have Aborigines in the jungle, you have Aborigines in the city. But in the jungle, original Aborigines, they would be worshipping, they see the sunrise, or some big mountain, or some big tree. They'll think this is God. So for those who are in a very primary stage, this nature worship, let us worship some, or the river, big river, this Danube river, or whatever river. They're thinking, oh, this is a wonderful representation of nature. Especially, of course here I don't think you get, but in some parts of the world, in the tropical areas, especially I lived many years in Bengal, so you'll see tremendous manifestations of Krishna's nature. Just like that, Boishaki Jor means there's the month of Boishak, or in Sanskrit it's Vaishak. In Bengali they pronounce Boishak. So that is very hot season between April and May, end of April, beginning of May, and very, very hot. It becomes very hot, and towards the end of the day, about 5 o'clock, there's a tremendous storm which only lasts for 5 minutes. But then everything is blown away in 5 minutes. So many trees are blown down, and the roofs of the houses might come off. In 5 minutes it can destroy all the crops. It's a very dangerous storm. Or you see this cyclone, for 3-4 days there'll be winds, 130 kilometers an hour, tremendous rain, and so many houses will be destroyed, cattle will be destroyed, people will be killed. Very powerful storms. Or earthquake. I don't think you're getting earthquakes here also sometimes? So the earthquake, everything is standing and next second everything is fallen down. We're surprised how the earth is shaking like this. So these are different manifestations of Krishna's nature. Very powerful. But that is also just a tiny fragment of His potency. Even this earthquake, we're seeing so much destruction. Not so recent, maybe was it 2 years ago, there was that earthquake in Maharashtra. I was just in Bombay at that time. That was at the edge of the earthquake, so not so much. But in the part of Maharashtra where that earthquake was, big area, everything destroyed. So we're surprised at the potency, how powerful is nature. But this is only a tiny fraction of Krishna's potency. At the time of the destruction of the universe, the whole universe is destroyed. Can we imagine? We take an earthquake to be so devastating, or we take some storm to be so devastating. But that is only a tiny fraction of the manifestation of Rudra that Prabhupada described. Whenever we see something like earthquake, or even a war, just like this war is going on now, just south of here, in Bosnia and surrounding areas. So that means the Rudra principle is active. Rudra means the angry principle, or the principle of destruction, that is predominant. So that Rudra principle, that is subordinate to Vishnu principle. Vishnu means the creator, who is the ultimate creator of everything, Sarva Karana Karanam. He's the maintainer of everything, and from him expands Brahma and Shiva, who do the creation and the destruction under his guidance. So any way you look at it, if you worship nature, or if you worship the demigods, or if you read this Vibhuti-yoga chapter of Bhagavad Gita, we have to come to the conclusion that Krishna is so great. Here it said, Purudasam chamukhyam mam vidhi partha brihaspitim. Krishna is the chief of all priests. Mukhyam means the chief. So Krishna is the chief everything. Krishna is, even if you say, chief rascal. Yes, even if you want to take, we can say, even if you want to see who is the most cunning, Krishna is the most cunning. If you see in Mahabharata that those who wanted to play games and cheat, Krishna could cheat them more. Just like Karna, he was surprised how Krishna, he is telling Arjuna, now you kill Karna. Because it's cheating. He was fallen down on the ground, putting his wheel back on his chariot. Arjuna should not have fought him at that time. So Karna said, what about the principles of religion? How can you tell Krishna to Arjuna to kill me? This is against the principles of religion. Then Krishna said, oh, very nice you're talking about the principles of religion. But it's surprising that you weren't thinking about the principles of religion when you arranged the gambling match to cheat the Pandavas. And it's surprising that you weren't thinking of the principles of religion when Shakuni was cheating in the dice. And it's surprising that you weren't thinking about the principles of religion when you tried to disrobe Draupadi. And so many examples he gave, and Karna could only hang his head and have it chopped off by Arjuna. So if you want to cheat, and that is also said here in Bhagavad Gita, that Krishna is the greatest cheat. You cannot cheat Krishna, because he'll cheat you more. You think, I'll enjoy separately from Krishna, I'll announce myself, Krishna. I'll become God. There's no one to stop me. There's no proper government, so I can call myself God. If there was any proper government, if anyone called himself God, except Krishna, who they should all worship, then they should immediately go and chop his head off. And that is good government. We cannot say there's good government as long as anyone is falsely claiming himself to be God. Because this is completely against the principles of religion. It is very inauspicious for human society, for a jiva who is supposed to worship God, to declare himself God, and accept the worship which is meant for God for himself. So, such a person may think, I'm very clever, I can get away with whatever I'm doing, and people will worship me, and call me God, and make my own so many different Sanskrit prayers in praise of me. This is they're doing, so many rascals. But they're thinking, very nice. But they're atheists. They don't actually believe in God. They don't believe in the power of God. They're talking, I'm God, but actually they don't believe in God, because if they believed in God, they would be afraid, and they should be afraid, because they're trying to cheat God. But the result is that for all their God business, sitting on a big high seat and everyone worshipping Him, I am God, He is God, He is God, then they simply end up under the foot of Yamaraj. They have to go see Yamaraj. You rascal, you called yourself God. Now see what kind of God you are. And all your followers too. Bring them all. Throw them in hell. So you want to cheat Krishna, you'll be cheated. You cannot cheat Krishna. He is knowing everything, He is seeing everything. You can play your game for some little time, but the result will be you have to suffer very severely, most severely, for this cheating business. So we cannot cheat. Krishna is supreme. Supreme everything. We cannot avoid that. We may not like it. Those who are atheistic, they don't like to accept that Krishna is God. Those who are devotees, they're very happy. Oh, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Very nice. They become very happy. When they hear Krishna praised as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they become very happy. And those who are atheists, they become very unhappy. Just like a snake. If you tread on him, he becomes very poisonous and angry. So the atheists, they feel it's like a kick in their head if Krishna should be praised. Why Krishna should be praised? I should be praised. I am God. They become unhappy. Just like Hiranyakashipu, there was no reason to become unhappy at his son. Because his son was after all just an innocent little boy chanting the names of God. But because he was a Surya Varya, the best of the demons, or the worst of the demons, or the greatest of the demons, as Prahlad Maharaj called him, therefore, on hearing the praise of Krishna, he became very unhappy. This is the atheistic nature. Asuri Bhava. The nature of a demon is, he becomes very unhappy when God is praised. Why should he be unhappy? If someone believes in God, now if the atheist is convinced that there's no such being as God, and he hears someone praising God, then he should just simply think, oh, he's foolish, that's all, because there's no God. He's simply wasting his time. But why should he become so much unhappy? Why should he form an atheistic society, International Society for Atheism Consciousness? They have such societies, atheism. Why should they argue on the TV? Because if bhasmi bhutasya dehasya kim punar agamano bhavet, if it's true that when the body is burnt, when the body is died, then you simply burn it and it becomes ashes, then why should we bother? Why should we worry if someone's thinking about God? It's simply their waste of time. We should get on with the real business of life, which according to the atheists is rinang kritva gritang pibet. Get ghee and enjoy life. Yavan jivet sukhang jivet. Of course, in those days, even the atheists were pious. They were thinking of ghee. They weren't thinking of McDonald's hamburgers. Or now, atheist means most horrible. Ugra karma, horrible. Let us enjoy life in the most horrible way. Eat meat, drink wine, be merry, enjoy, exploit women, exploit men even. They're so degraded. So this is the atheistic mentality. But demoniac mentality. But if they're thinking anyway that there's no God, then why should they become upset? Others are talking about God. What does it matter to you, sir? You are going to die also, so enjoy life while you can. But they become upset. Oh, no, why should you talk about God? Stop it. Stop this talk about God. No Hare Krishna movement. Catholic Church, that's alright. We'll have the church, that's alright, because they only talk about God once a week. And even then they don't talk about God. Simply summary, if you see the lecture they give, I was also from Catholic family. I was very surprised that they give the Sunday sermon. And they never talk about God. They talk about some social activities or be good. But they never talk about God because they don't... What have they got to talk about? No information. They don't know who is God. What are they going to say? He's sitting on a cloud. What else? He's got a long beard. What else? He's making bread to feed everybody. Give us this day our daily bread. And that's all. There's nothing else to say. And how many times are you going to say that? And then everybody is simply... Anyway, they go to sleep in the lecture. So you can say anything you like. Doesn't matter. You can tell some poems or tell a few jokes. That's what they usually do. Tell a few jokes. Keep everyone awake. They saw a few jokes on TV. Tell a few jokes. So they have no information. So alright. Church is alright because anyway they don't talk about God. And anyway their God stays in the church. He's well behaved. He doesn't bother us. And only when we need Him we go to Him. But this Hare Krishna movement, they're too much because they're out on the streets distributing books, telling people not only about God, but telling people to stop all the meaningful activities of life, such as eating meat, gambling, illicit sex, and intoxication. So, this should be stopped. We don't like this. We are atheists, we are demons, so we don't like these things. Stop it immediately. Make a law. No more Hare Krishna movement. Be civilized. Be Slovenian. Live according to your tradition and your culture. Don't chant Hare Krishna. Don't spoil the human society with all these things. It's foreign. We don't like these foreign things. This Hare Krishna is foreign. McDonald's is also foreign. Sony is also foreign. And Arnold Schwarzenegger is also foreign. But that is alright. But Hare Krishna is foreign? No. We cannot have. Everything else foreign, okay. Chinese takeaway, also okay. But Hare Krishna, no. Stop it. So this is atheistic mentality. They don't want to admit Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Only this very one simple thing we're asking. You please, sir, we don't mind, you can remain Slovenian, it doesn't matter, but you just admit that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And for this, they will make big motions in the parliament and big discussion, they're spoiling our children and so many things, because they don't want to admit Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And all we are preaching is Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is Mukhyam. He is the chief everything. He is the chief anything you take. He is the best. Top. We don't want to admit. Therefore we are demons. We should not be demons. We should be devotees. By studying Bhagavad Gita as it is, chanting Hare Krishna, and very, as Prabhupada writes in one of his purports, very peacefully trying to convince people that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or if necessary, kicking on their heads. Prabhupada writes that. So, Hare Krishna. Is there any question? Does anybody protest that Krishna is not the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Then we'll get our boots. Kick them in the head with boots. Prabhupada said that. I remember before I joined this movement, I saw some article in the newspaper, Trouble in Nirvana, because they think that all the gurus and sages and swamis, they're all from Nirvana. So in a news conference in Hong Kong, they asked Prabhupada about, what do you think about this Guru Maharaji, so-called Guru Maharaji? Maybe you didn't hear of him, if you're lucky. He's a retired incarnation of God. He went to America, made a lot of money, made an American secretary, his wife, and then he retired, having made a few $1 million. So it was quite a good business. Increased the foreign exchange earnings of India. The Indian government was quite happy. So anyway, they asked Prabhupada in Hong Kong press conference, what do you think of this Guru Maharaji? So Prabhupada said, do you really want to know what I think, or you just want me to flatter you? No, what do you really think? Prabhupada said, he is not God, he is a dog. I kick on his face with boots, I urinate on him. What will he do? So then they wrote, Trouble in Nirvana. The gurus are fighting. Actually, not the gurus are fighting. The guru is speaking the truth. The guru. They're not the gurus of gurus, they don't fight. Even they fight, they may fight over some little thing. Just like one guru, we all agree Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is guru. And one may say, some little detail. We should have Mangalati at 4:30. No, we should have Mangalati at 4:15. But detail, there may be some difference. Not fighting. Even if they fight, that is prem kolahal. Even devotees fight, that is Chaitanya Charitamrita says, that is love quarrel, that's all. Nothing more. But who's the guru? His guru means he must accept Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Otherwise he's not a guru. He's a rascal, that's all. What is that verse? Padma Puran says, Shat karma nipano vipra mantra tantra visharada avaishnava guru nasyad vaishnava shvapacha guru, means that even if one is a very expert Brahmin, he can say all the mantras inside out, upside down. You go to him, I want a mantra for this, all right. I want a mantra for that, all right. I want another mantra, all right, take it. I want a mantra to make my wife control. And then the wife will come, I want a mantra to make my husband control. So he'll give them both. And then they'll come back and then another mantra. So this mantra selling business. So he may be very expert in giving mantras, yantras, tantras, mudras, so many different things. But if he's not a Vaishnav, he should not be a guru, because he doesn't know what is the meaning of life. And if he's a Vaishnav, even if he was born in a family of dog eaters, even if he's born in the most degraded family, he should be a guru, he must be a guru. Because Kiba Vipra Kiba Nyasi Shudra Kene Noy Je Krishna Tattaveta Shri Guru Hoy. Doesn't matter, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says. You may come from nice Brahmin family, from Shudra family, lower than Shudra family, from dog-eater family. But if you know about Krishna, then you must be guru by preaching. Jare deko tare kaha Krishna upadesh. Amaraggai guru hoya tara idesh. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, he must be a guru. He must go everywhere and speak about Krishna. Instruct people about Krishna. So who is actual guru? He accepts Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And who is claiming to be God falsely, he must speak against them. Otherwise he's not a guru. If he says, yeah, that's all right, yes, he's also very nice. If you say such a person is nice, then you become not nice. Then you become poisonous. Then you become suspicious. Anyone who does not speak out against all this gross rascaldom, that someone is calling himself God, when he's not even he can't control his stool passing. God means supreme controller, but when he has to run to the bathroom, he can't control his stool passing. So how is he God? And he's calling himself God. So this kind of person should be kicked in the face. Then you'll see they'll pass stool and urine, then proof they're not God. So, any other question? No question? I'm not going to kick on your face because you're all devotees. So don't be afraid. Why not? It's stated in the Bhagavatam. You just understand means you just accept, that's all. He is at the beginning of creation, one of the Prajapatis. So he's given Shakti by the Supreme Lord that is invested to do that. Just like you may say, how is it possible that a man unites with a woman and a child is born? Do you know how it's possible? How is it done? That is also amazing. If you take one machine, one clock and another clock and put them together, you can leave them together for 10 million years, which they won't, even your best Rolex watch won't last that long, but it won't produce another Rolex watch. But if you put male body with a female body, and all conditions being right, then another body will be produced. So that in itself, that's also wonderful. How is it happening? That is working by the Shakti of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So in certain persons, he invests different kinds of Shakti. So the Prajapatis at the beginning of creation, particularly Kashyapa Muni was invested with that Shakti to bring forth different species of life, because that is necessary at the time of universal creation. So that Shakti is invested in him, and he does his job, and therefore so many species of life are there now. Any other question? Anytime you say anything, oh, you have a guru like that? Oh, very, very nice. He also likes our books. He's also got all our books. So you should have them also. You can say anything. But don't say it too much. Don't say, oh, he's so wonderful, I touch his lotus feet. And just like all the time on Sankirtan, the child is there. Oh, you're a very nice child. A little screaming child. He's an unfortunate child because he's not born of devotee parents. But you want to make them fortunate by giving them the book. Then the child will be fortunate. So he's got bogus guru. So you want to make him fortunate by giving the book. You don't want to have a fight on the street. So you kick him in the face by giving him Prabhupada's books. And Prabhupada will kick him in the face. He will write, he will open up Prabhupada's books and says, anyone who does not accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead is rascal number one. So Prabhupada will kick him in the face. He'll do it for you better. Of course, they're such rascal, they say, Krishna is the Supreme. Oh, that means my guru is. What can you do for such people? Anyway, they should take a book. Any other question? No, it's not that they should always travel, but if they can, it's a good life for brahmacharis. Prabhupada didn't say that every brahmachari has to travel. Some he made temple president, and if they're cooks in the temple or whatever, if they have some temple service, then. But if they're traveling, means that. Why explain? It's in the book. It said, I'm quoting from Prabhupada, that is very simple life, non-entangling, and always moving. You'll be fresh. Prabhupada said that. There's always preaching in a different place, like that, and you don't get so many attachments. So that's nice if you can do. You don't become attached. This is my corner of the brahmachari ashram. Even then you may become attached. This is my corner of the bus. I sleep here. Do you sleep in the buses here? No, it's not such a good idea. We used to do. It's not so good for the health in the winter, especially. Any other question? No? Alright, so we'll finish that. Jai Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.